documentary marks 160 years of Adventist presence in Italy. Kids Evangelistic Week of Prayer leads 61 to baptism in Ecuador. An Adventist school in Australia raises funds for cancer charity at special breakfast. Youth missionaries in Europe are dedicated to connecting people with Christ amidst challenges. Southern Asia Pacific delegates convene in the Philippines for a division-wide Congress. These and other news coming up now on ANN. The Adventist Church in Italy is celebrating its 160th anniversary with a new documentary narrated by Tiziana Ramoldi from the Adventist Faculty of Theology in Florence. The film covers key events from the first European Adventist baptism in 1864 to the 1988 Church-State Relations Law, highlighting the Church's growth and commitment to faith and community.
It all begins here. In May 1864, the first Adventist missionary arrives in Europe. His name is Mikhail Belina Sekowski, a Pole, but we know him better. He was born in Poland in 1818. At 17, he entered a Franciscan convent, and after a few years, he also took holy orders, becoming a regular priest. He is a man full of fervor, religious, but not only. He is also a lover of his homeland, Poland, which at that time was divided among some European empires. In 1843, Tchaikovsky is in Rome. His reformist spirit leads him to request an audience with Pope Gregory XVI to present him with a memorandum on the deplorable state of the convents in Poland. However, during the audience, suddenly, a Pope's officer comes to inform the pontiff that the diplomatic representative of Belgium has arrived. Poor Tchaikovsky is then left alone in the room. At least, he will have the satisfaction of being able to leave his memorandum. Subsequently, his interest in the insurrectional activities of Poland forced him to leave his homeland. He will be in exile, traveling around Europe in various places. In 1850, we find him in Geneva, where he distances himself from the Catholic faith to the point of getting married. Later, he obviously goes to Belgium, then to England, where the local Baptist community welcomes him and helps him to emigrate to the United States. In 1852, we find him in the northeast of the United States, where the local Baptist community decides to employ him as an evangelist among French immigrants. In 1855, he meets the Seventh-day Adventists in Ohio. He is fascinated by the Adventist preaching, especially the message about the Sabbath, to the point that in 1857 he becomes a Seventh-day Adventist. He meets Ellen White, James White, and goes to Battle Creek. After becoming a Seventh-day Adventist, his greatest desire is to bring the message of the Seventh-day Adventist to his European homeland. Unfortunately, the General Conference at the time is just starting and does not have the funds or the mindset to send a missionary. So he turns to the First-day Adventists, who trust him and send him as a missionary. His first stop in Europe is indeed Torre Pellice. Tchaikovsky, like many other European and American Protestants, is fascinated by the Waldensian people. Although Tchaikovsky is sponsored by the Seventh-day Adventists, with whom he shares the doctrine of the Second Coming, in reality, in his preaching, he exalts Saturday as a day of rest.
Now, we'll look back at a significant moment in 1986, when crucial negotiations shaped the future of religious liberty for the Adventist Church in Italy.
In 1986, Gianfranco Rossi is the director of the Department of Public Affairs and Religious Freedom of the Division, but he takes the time to come to Italy and assist the local team, where Ignazio Barbuscia, who is the director of the Italian Department of Religious Freedom, assisted by Dora Bognandi, are preparing as a team to confront the Italian government to draw up the new agreement with the Adventist Church. The negotiations of the Commission are proceeding quite smoothly, but at a certain point, there is a snag. There are two articles of the agreement that raise concerns in the government. One is regarding the sabbatical rest. Will Adventists be able to see their desire to observe sabbatical rest respected? The second point concerns military service. Adventists would like their status as conscientious objectors to be recognized. However, in the end, the issue is resolved. And so on December 29, 1986, the President of the Union, Enrico Long, is able to close the negotiations and sign the agreement with the Prime Minister, Bettino Craxi. But this story continues, and it is us who are writing its pages. The words that Ellen White wrote in her diary in 1886 still echo today.
This is a tough field, but we must sow along the waters. We will work, pray, and believe.
This documentary offers a compelling testimony of the Seventh-day Adventist Church's enduring journey in Italy. You can explore the movement's history in Italy by watching the full documentary on the Hope Media Italia channel on YouTube. A campaign in the southwestern Philippines, initiated by Adventist Muslim Relations, has launched its first masterclass for a minority group in the predominantly Muslim Sulu Islands. This masterclass focuses on health initiatives and aims to train young leaders in promoting wellness and conducting medical missions in the region.
In the southwestern Philippines, Seventh-day Adventists organized their first masterclass for the Tausug minority in the Sulu Islands through Adventist Muslim Relations. 15 delegates participated, eager to learn about the health-focused training. This initiative aims to train young Tausug leaders to collaborate on health initiatives, particularly medical missions. The Bangsamoro region, home to most Muslims in the Philippines, faces significant health challenges. This masterclass seeks to equip the community with knowledge about healthier lifestyle choices to foster overall development. The Start Now campaign promotes 8 essential health principles: sunlight, temperance, activity, rest, trust in God, nutrition, oxygen, and water. Pilot speakers emphasize these principles' role in preventing lifestyle diseases and building healthy communities. Percy Dave Arroyo, Sulu coordinator of the Adventist Muslim Relations, highlighted the value of health and wellness in connecting with the Tausug community.
Simple health principles are opening doors for more initiatives in this region. We hope to raise awareness and address health concerns.
By embracing these principles, leaders in the region will be equipped to drive community wellness and transformation. In Almaty, Kazakhstan, Adventists held the He Leads Me concert. Hosted by the Osabiata Development Center, this charity event was dedicated to children with disabilities.
The program was filled with uplifting performances by children's and youth ensembles, a men's choir, and a church choir. What made this event even more touching was the participation of children with developmental disabilities who showcased their favorite songs. From solos to instrumental medleys and children's prose, the concert lasted 2 hours. The audience was diverse and moved, with church guests comprising a significant portion of the attendees. Many were newcomers, drawn by the event's inclusive spirit. The feedback was overwhelming. Guests and participants alike were deeply touched by the resonant words and melodies. Hymn lyrics were displayed on screens, inviting everyone to join in and connect more deeply with the music and its meaning. Witnessing the sincere praise of young voices amidst such warmth was profoundly inspiring, reminding all present of God's guiding presence that leads toward a sense of ultimate belonging.
This event, with God as its center, serves as a powerful example of how music and community can uplift hearts and souls. The Wahroonga Adventist School, located in Sydney, Australia, hosted a special breakfast event that raised over $1,000 Australian dollars for a charity dedicated to cancer prevention, research, and patient support.
Known as the Fantastic Morning Tea, the event was open to all students from preschool to year 12, along with their families. They enjoyed croissants, muffins, pancakes, hot chocolates, and tea. The event surpassed its goal, raising $1,200 for Australia's biggest morning tea, a community initiative organized by the Cancer Council. The funds will support cancer research, patient care, and prevention campaigns. The active participation of parents, teachers, and students demonstrates the commitment of the Adventist School to provide a holistic, Christ-centered education.
Events like this at Wahroonga Adventist School not only demonstrate solidarity and generosity, but also nurture an entrepreneurial spirit and social responsibility in children, reflecting Christ's ministry. In the world's largest Protestant health system, recognized by the World Health Organization, the ministry of healing of Jesus is advanced through alleviating suffering and holistic care. Sam Neves, host of ANN In-Depth, discusses with Dr. Peter Landless, director of the Adventist Health Ministry, the impact of hundreds of hospitals and clinics within the Seventh-day Adventist health system across various countries and contexts.
Some of our hospitals are leading hospitals in research and in different areas. Some other hospitals we have are in the middle of nowhere, and they do their best, and some clinics are in the air. We have some of our doctors need to fly to different islands in the Pacific to be able to help people and so on. So there is a vast difference between our leading hospitals and our most remote hospitals. So you visited most, if not all of them.
Many.
Describe some of these extremes that we have between the little clinics and the large hospitals. What does that look like?
Well, you can go from the newest, largest tower at Loma Linda, which cost $1.5 billion to build.
Is it built now?
Oh, it's Loma Linda.
The new tower, because they've been building it for a few
years.
It's
finished. It's been open for 2 years.
I need to go and visit.
You do need to. You will. That's why I mentioned it. You'll see the best of everything in that. And then go from there. I've just been to Penang Adventist Hospital in Malaysia, but they've got a special system, which I've not seen in many hospitals in the world of any institution, any system, and that is how to capture the isotopes so that they don't, the radiation, so that it doesn't cause damage to other people. So they have specially designed toilets that separates excrement, and the urine is where the most of the radioactivity would be. That passes down into a special apparatus. It is then isolated, sealed in lead containers, so that there's not a risk to anybody.
I never thought of the aftermath of the isotopes.
Well, these are people who are in hospital for 6-7 days getting radioactive treatment. And, you want to make sure that you don't expose their families ultimately and themselves and their caregivers. So I just looked at the system and I thought, but it's so state of the art.
Innovation throughout.
Absolutely. And so seeing that was just to me an encouragement. And I thought to myself, what a blessing.
For the full episode and other videos delving deeper into the Seventh-day Adventist faith and its story, visit our official channel on YouTube. In the southern region of Ecuador, over 300 kids participated in the Kids Evangelism Week of Prayer, where they were the main preachers. During this special campaign, these young evangelists led 61 new friends to baptism. The theme of the week was God Knows, He Cares for You.
More than 300 children in southern Ecuador were the main preachers during Kids Evangelism Week, which resulted in 61 new souls for Christ. From May 11th to 18th, this great week was held, a day that showed the skills and gifts of the little ones to talk about God and make calls under the purity of their hearts. The Adventist Church wants them to be part of the preaching of the gospel and the new generations. That is why this project includes the help of those who surround these little ones, as explained by the leader of this ministry.
Evangelismo Kids is a project that forms missionaries. Our children work so that they can grow, truly wanting and desiring to be part of this missionary team of Jesus. All united, let's only dream. Once we are united, we will work together so that our children are prepared, trained in all the activities that they do and that we do as a church, so that they are not only the missionary children of today, but the missionary children of tomorrow. We want each of them to give a Bible study and feel the desire, joy, and pleasure of being able to bring a soul to the feet of Jesus.
This year, in all the missionary districts of the Adventist Church in the southern part of the country, discipline days are being implemented for children aged 6 to 12, with the accompaniment of their parents and local leaders of the children's ministry. Under the biblical teaching of Matthew 19:14, we are all involved in supporting the children who preach about Jesus and letting them go to Him,
as they are responsible for proclaiming his second coming. The Church is committed to this task and reinforces its gifts and abilities through actions of service to God and love for others.
As we've seen in the report, the Seventh-day Adventist Church is committed to engaging the new generations in spreading the gospel. This project is global and includes active participation from parents, teachers, and leaders, enabling children to develop their talents and share Christ's message. Today, we're going to learn about stories of young people seeking to connect with Christ through missions in a Europe where spiritual values face significant challenges. Whether in Serbia, Cyprus, or England, they are dedicated to spiritual growth and sharing God's love among other youth worldwide.
One Year in Mission is a strategic partnership between the Trans-European Division, Newbold College of Higher Education, and ADRA, which is a beautiful story of how busy growing youth become busy spreading youth.
You basically spend the semester doing more of theory. Of course, you have some practical bits and pieces. And then after that, the idea is that they can go ready to some kind of a mission trip.
I stayed 3 months in Serbia. I would have stayed longer if I could. And after that, I decided to go to Cyprus to kind of experience another mission field. Because Serbia was homeless ministry and refugees, and Cyprus was church growth and evangelism.
I never thought of myself as a missionary or anything like that, but through doing the program here, it helped me see that I could do it, my friends could do it. We're all missionaries in our own way.
Birmingham, England. With a diverse urban population of almost 1 million, it is a home to one of the world's top 100 universities. Busy growing her faith on this campus and leading a small group of Adventists is Gemina Nambo, committed to busy loving, growing, and spreading the gospel.
So a key word for us this year has been fellowship. To be able to create opportunities for students to come and just be a part of something, be a part of a community and know that they are cared for. And so having our weekly care group catch-ups, going to church together, having fellowship lunches together, doing social things together has enabled us to build a group, a space, a platform essentially, where anybody can come and be a part of something. When it comes to following Christ, being a part of something can be a gateway to then accepting the truth that brings.
May these stories of youth and mission inspire you to engage wherever you are in advancing the kingdom of God throughout the world. May we follow in the footsteps of Christ with love, faith, and service. Under the banner, Jesus is Coming, Get Involved, delegates from the Southern Asia-Pacific region gathered in the Philippines for the Division-Wide Congress 2024.
Over 30,000 delegates from 11 regional offices across the Southern Asia-Pacific region gathered at Mountain View College to equip leaders and church members. The event brought together participants for the Division-Wide Congress of the Sabbath School Personal Ministries, Nurturing Discipleship, Retention, Integrated Evangelism Lifestyle, and Children's Ministries Congress. The grand opening ceremony began with a vibrant parade of nations, featuring delegates from Malaysia, Myanmar, Timor-Leste, East Indonesia, West Indonesia, Southeast Asia, Central Philippines, Northern Philippines, Southeastern Philippines, and Southwestern Philippines. These leaders emphasized the vital role of spirituality in fostering a nation of faith and highlighted the example of Jesus as a guide for leading one's community. Urton Kohler, Adventist World Church Executive Secretary, delivered a powerful message, highlighting Christ's salvific work on Calvary and its assurance of salvation, encouraging attendees to stand firm in their faith. The event culminated in the joyous baptism of more than 400 souls in the college's swimming pool.
The week-long event marked the beginning of a new journey of learning and sharing for all attendees from various parts of the Philippines and countries within the Southern Asia-Pacific region. Prepare your hearts to witness an emotional story about the fulfillment of dreams through adoption, a path illuminated by divine providence. Let's together explore Stephanie and her family's experience in Costa Rica, where only God's hand could have orchestrated every step.
Stephanie and her husband asked God for a family, and He answered their prayer in an unexpected way.
God took 20 years to carefully write this adoption story, which is the story of our family. And we have the certainty that He chose it for us. Michelle was chosen for us, just as we were chosen for her.
After about a year of trying to have a baby, Stephanie and her husband were unable to get pregnant. They looked into adoption, but found the process would take longer than expected.
But because of the way the Lord works, the following year I got pregnant. I had my first daughter. And 3 years later, I had my second child.
Their prayers were answered as they cared for 2 children, but adoption was still lingering in their minds.
I told my husband, calm down, I'm going to pray. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the Lord that the person He chooses for us comes to us. I remember telling the Lord that it was important to us that He chose, because they were going to be that person who needed our help, and that we also needed that person.
The Adventist Church of Limon, Costa Rica, is connected with the needs of its community. Each week, Stephanie and other volunteers visit a local orphanage to hold programs and Bible studies for kids who are interested. More than 100 children live here. Dozens of children and caregivers attend the programs and worship services. Church members are paired up and assigned to visit a specific house in the orphanage.
A friend of mine and I got house number 7. When we were giving Bible studies in that house number 7, I noticed that there was a girl who was very attached to me. She was the one who carried my bag. She always met me at the gate and took me to her house, and she paid a lot of attention to Bible studies.
So that was how I got to know the Adventist movement. That's how I fell more in love with who I am now. I was baptized, and I remember one day I told her, "Why doesn't she adopt me?" I said it. That is, it was something very spontaneous.
But I said, okay, it seems to me an answered prayer because we had said that the person that the Lord chose had to come to us. And indeed, this girl came to us and asked me to adopt her.
Over time, Michelle went to live with Stephanie and eventually completed the official adoption process. Today, Michelle is studying nursing at Central America Adventist University in Costa Rica. She is close with her family. Unfortunately, Michelle is one of the few from the orphanage who are adopted. Those who aren't have to leave the orphanage when they turn 18 and enter a new, harsh reality.
I feel that this is the reality that many young people live there. They get depressed. Sometimes they don't see the meaning of life, and it's because, honestly, they don't see that light that every young person needs.
This quarter, a portion of your 13th Sabbath offering will help build a center where these young adults can go when they turn 18. This center will provide a safe place for them to stay while they learn skills to find jobs and become a contributing member of society, rather than turning to drugs and other alternatives.
Those kinds of people, even if they don't show it, need a lot of love, a lot of appreciation, a lot of understanding.
Please pray for the children and young people in Limon, Costa Rica. Thank you for contributing to this offering that will make a difference in so many lives.
May this story inspire us to see that through faith and obedience to God's plans, dreams can come true in surprising ways. Let's pray that every young person longing for a home finds love in an adoptive family. And let's remember that each contribution to the 13th Sabbath offerings makes a significant difference, building hope and opportunities for those in greatest need. With these stories that inspire, touch our hearts, and leave us feeling uplifted, we conclude this week's ANN News. Thank you for watching ANN. Join us next week for more news from the headquarters of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Did you know the Seventh-day Adventist Church has a YouTube channel where you can watch other amazing videos? Just go to YouTube and search for the Adventist Church. Make sure you click the subscribe button so you never miss a new video. And remember, leave a comment or a prayer request. We have a team dedicated to praying for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Before I say goodbye, I'll leave you with the inspiring words from the book of Acts, chapter 1, verse 8. But you shall receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you, and you shall be witnesses to me in Jerusalem, and in all Judea and Samaria, and to the end of the earth. And remember, you can always visit Adventist.news for daily news and videos. Until next time, when we will have more news of faith, love, and hope. God bless.